Hey guys, so I talked about the edge angle on the ESEE 4. When I saw one of Kylie's videos, he was talking about, I think, the rat one, how he convexed his because it was just a better performer. And we started talking about the Zula, and I told him it's razor sharp, and he told me, well, the angle's too steep, so you're not going to get the cutting performance. I didn't really understand back then, but when you play with knives and you like to find out stuff about knives and you sharpen knives, you get to understand certain things. And I did, thanks to Kylie. A lot of my edge knowledge is from Kylie. So, this knife is still shaving sharp. You can take my word for that. I'm not going to do a close-up. But it'll grab the hairs and cut them. I mean, it's not as shaving sharp as some other knives I have. But it shaves. It shaves. You don't really have to push into the skin too much. So I'm going to show you what that means, and I think you're going to see my point, pun intended, because that's what happens when you get a steeper angle. Now, I did play with this knife a bit. What I did was I cut this branch down. I cut it with the Laplander, and then I just cross-batoned it. You know, the evil cross-batoning that you're never supposed to do with a knife? I did that. Watch out, bad guy. So, holding the knife regularly, not by the choil, regularly, I'm just going to push into the wood. And I'm going to try not to scrape my fingers. So I'm just going to hold the wood like this. Here it is. It's what I could manage to take off. Regular force, I mean, not really pushing. And with such a steep edge, if you push more, the knife's going to get jammed and you won't really have the power to keep on pushing. There you go. See? So what you do is you lift up a bit and then you shave off another piece. So although the knife's razor sharp, it doesn't really have the cutting performance that it could have. I'm going to compare this with another knife, and we're not talking the same grind. This is a Scandi ground knife with a micro convex bevel, and I pushed a bit too deep, and now I have to lift up and scrape my hand. Either way, the cut was much deeper. So the effort is a bit bigger, the force I'm putting in the cut, because this one bites in deeper and the wood squeezes it. Now let's do something else. Let's take a convex ground knife and do the same. Much better, much easier. That's a knot. I'm hoping you can see it. Now let's do something even more evil and take a really good convex edge. This is my patch knife, and this one's really thin, and the angle on the edge is really small. So let me go on the other side, and the thickness of this shaving is a bit bigger, so it's a bit thicker, but the effort in the cut is much smaller. it just glides through the wood. I'm not guessing that the coating is a problem here. I'm guessing just the edge. Even if you take the coating off, keeping the same edge angle, you'll probably have the same result. Now this is a smaller knife, and as such is not so comfortable in the hand, but it is thicker. The handle is thicker. The further more you bite in the wood, the harder it gets. See, it stops right there. You have to lift up a bit. So, let me clean this up. Do the evil batoning again. The evil cross-grain batoning. And put a point on this. I tend to want to go closer to the blade, to the cutting edge. So I tend to want to do this, not really in the choil, but I tend to want to put my finger right on the guard here. That's not very comfortable. This is kind of a thick stick. I wouldn't want to do it. If I would want to put a point on this one, I'll just show you on this end. Clean it up as well. So, if I want to put a point on this one, I would baton it. Not the ideal position, but I'll baton it like this, and maybe then try to put a point on it, or baton it again. Now I'm going in the choil. Okay, well, we got a pretty steep point. That's decent. I would say that's decent. A little bug. Let me get you out of the way. Sorry guys, I don't want to kill bugs. If I would be a bug, I really wouldn't want to be smashed by a baton. Alright, I'm not really going to put a point here because it's going to take a while with this. But you can refine this one. Taking small shavings, it does okay with that. But put a point, that'll take some more time. I'm wearing it horizontally, by the way, in the small of my back, and it's very comfortable. I have no problem with it. I love it, actually. Let me try it with this knife, though. See, I'm kind of terrified of trying to put a point on this stick with the ESEE 4, because I know how it's going to perform. But this one actually is pretty good. There you go, I kind of overdid it and cut the tip again. Much better point. Now let me do something else. Let me do the evil batoning again. And let me get out my gloves, because this time I took them with me and I especially put them in my pocket just so I wouldn't forget anything. Alright, let me now stick myself with this, with the tip Now, if you chop into something, that's going to damage the edge a bit, but it's not shaving sharp anymore. Well, it shaves if you push harder, but that's just ripping the hairs out. However, this should still be good for wood. I don't see any chips, dents, rolls. But you see what's happening here? I'm pushing hard, and the last part is still straight, so it's not really producing a tip. I'm gonna have to do this also here. And the tip is not as sharp, as nice, as acute as the one before. It's harder. You would have to do more fine work. Not so much power cutting, you know. Doing just this, it's gonna slip. You don't have as good control with this edge like you do with the convex, with a good convex. But you can still put a decent point. Well, I hope I managed to make a point, and I still like the knife as it is. I still consider it to be great, and I will not convex it. Yet, I might play with it for a long time and then decide to convex it. But right now, I just like the looks of it. Alright guys, let me see if I can make a notch here. The best way to make a notch, in my opinion, if you have such a big stick, do this, baton it in the stick, and then just go like this. And there you have your notch. Does good, in my opinion. Let's see. Let's see my trapper. That was faster and cleaner, much cleaner. So working with a different edge is easier. I really hope you liked it. I sure did. It actually performed just as I expected. The only thing I realized that if I don't wear any gloves, I really want to hold my finger right above the guard. That would be, for me, the preferred position. Now, going near the choil, I don't have a problem with the choil and the edge. I really like it. But for harder tasks, I wouldn't feel very comfortable with this side here, that's bare metal. It kind of digs in. Doesn't really hurt, but I imagine if you do this for a longer period of time, it will. Alright,